Managers aren't allowed to tell me to use their parking space when they're off? Alright, then. So this happened a good 6 years ago now. I was just starting my IT career, so I was a basic level 1 desktop engineer for a large financial company. My team consisted of me, a level 2 engineer, and 3 managers, 1 for data, 1 for people, and 1 overall manager. Parking in town was either expensive or impossible, and while management and supervisors got parking spaces in the huge multi-story next to the office, other staff members didn't get one and either had to pay the very expensive parking fees or park far away and walk. Being on a low entry-level salary, I opted to walk the 30 minutes into town, and often got sick due to bad weather. The level 2 guy lived a 5-minute walk from the office and didn't own a car. When any of the managers were off, they offered their parking space to me so that I wouldn't have to walk, which was very nice of them, and greatly appreciated as it was saving me money too. One day, I got called into HR because somebody saw me coming out of the multi-story and got jealous and asked why I get a space and they don't. This HR manager was incredibly condescending and talked to me like I was a literal child with lines like, "Back when I was your age." I thought the world owed me everything too, which is absolutely not my attitude, but sure. Go off on one like you know me. She said it wasn't fair on the level 2 guy because he might want the space too. She wouldn't listen when I said he didn't drive, and even said to me he didn't want it after I asked if he was okay with me using the space. At the end of the day, I went into the management office and we were chatting about the day as we usually did, and I told them about the HR meeting and said they weren't allowed to let me use their space anymore. The data manager then had a genius MC suggestion. She was a very selfless soul who sacrificed much of her time to help other people, and this situation rubbed her the wrong way and she wanted to do something out of spite. She said that whenever any of them were on holiday, they'd just tell me that their parking space will be empty for the duration. Not specifically that I can use it, which is what we were told not to do from HR. So the next time they were on holiday, I parked in their space, and after a few days, somebody else got jealous and tattled to HR again. I was dragged into a meeting and asked why I was still using their space. I said that I just took a chance on an empty space I found in the multi-story. They were rented, not pay and display. She went and asked the data manager when she was back in if she said I could use the space. To which she said, "No. I just said goodbye before I went on holiday for 2 weeks." HR then told her I was in her space in her absence and asked her if she wanted to raise a complaint against me. She said, "No thanks. I wasn't using it anyway." Their hands were tied and there was nothing they could do to prevent me from using the spaces, as they're allocated privately to the individuals for use even outside of office hours and only reclaimed when they leave. TLDR. My old data manager is a delightful human being and HR was a bitter old crow. Is HR just really bored? Do they need a puzzle or a crossword to do? Perhaps they can find Waldo and give him a written warning. Everyone's talking about but a team with 3 managers for 2 engineers? People are too old to be this damn petty. One place I worked had a similar situation with parking for remote desktop techs. Walking to the office with another tech returning from a deployment, they were robbed at gunpoint of the laptop bags, toolkits, and about a dozen new PCs back when they cost $1,000 apiece. Management went crazy, but there was video of the robbery and the cops said there was a problem and suggested letting people carrying close to $20,000 in company assets have parking in the attached garage. No parking provided. Happened again to another tech. Someone on another forum used to work at a major company. Think it was ICI. And shares a story. At that company, the quality of your office was determined by your salary scale, org chart ranking. To simplify, let's compare 3 ranks and their carpeting. Lower rank got no carpet. Middle rank got a partial carpet. Higher rank got fitted, wall-to-wall carpet. One day, a middle-ranked employee was moved into a higher-rank office with wall-to-wall carpet. Later that day, someone from facilities came out and tucked about 7.5 centimeters, 3 inches of carpet in around the entire office. Employee asks, "What's going on? You're middle rank. Your office isn't allowed a fitted carpet. Why is HR everywhere so consistently awful?" Pro tip. If you're in the States, save all paid parking receipts and claim that on your taxes as a business expense. If there is no alternative to paid parking, then it's part of job expenses. Surprised HR person herself wasn't the victim of some maliciousness. It really just sounds to me like the HR person was forced to get involved because Moaning Myrtle complained. I doubt they would have bothered if Moaning Myrtle hadn't complained. But what's the characteristic of Moaning Myrtle? Moaning Myrtle always complains. My mom gets tickets from her work for box tickets, luxury suites at stadiums. She gave me tickets a few times and the president of their company got a complaint that she was giving her tickets to her kids. She flipped her shit, saying that it was given as a benefit to her and that they have no right to tell her how to use her benefits in the same way that they have no right to tell her what she can use her money on. They agreed and made it a policy. This crab mentality in business is crazy. I get that someone's benefit, a coveted parking spot, felt diminished because someone with less merit got it, but in reality, nothing changed. The complainer still got their spot and someone else also got a benefit. Fuck crab mentality. If you find someone with crab mentality, lose their phone number. https://u2.be/ruck2ga8mjq. Our is pretty much a bullshit job. HR is a non-revenue generating department. It has to constantly look for ways to look like it adds value to management. Monitoring parking spaces keeps them looking busy and important. I am sure HR has dozens of sex harassment complaints they can be focusing on rather than this shit. Honestly, the manager should have had a meeting with HR and straightened that STF out. That's ridiculous. The nerve of them to assume you thought the world owes you something. When the complaint came from a third party who was jealous of an arrangement your team made internally in handling its own resources. Toby is the worst. Pick up the guy that is 5 minutes from work and go in together. Tell HR you are carpooling, and when you drive, you park in his space. The very last concern of HR is the employees that work like hell to pay their wages. In my very biased and limited experience, people who typically go into HR are kind of like the people who become cops but without a hard-on for guns and physical violence. They're people who like power. People who love rules and enforcing them. They're not there to help employees or the betterment of the company. They're there to monitor, control and punish. They'll follow rules without stopping to think about whether it's fair, useful or appropriate. Just because it's the rule. They'll live by their stats. Even going so far as gaming the system so they look good, without thinking about whether these stats are relevant at all or the consequences of basing their Beloved rules on these stats. I don't typically like HR people. A team with 5 people on it had 3 managers? Run.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Aircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.